You should know that no country is comparable to North Korea. The North Korean regime is the most violent regime on the planet, and the smallest sign of opposition to Kim Jong-un will send you to the forced labor camps. In this video, we want to examine the ways to escape from North Korea and those who manage to escape from this country. The first destination that can be thought of is South Korea, a country completely opposite to its northern neighbor, which is a free and very rich democracy. South Korea officially considers all 26 million people of North Korea as its citizens. That is, if you can get yourself to South Korea, you are guaranteed citizenship. Crossing the land borders is completely impossible because this area is the most militarized area surrounded by very high walls, along with electric wires and mines. And there are hundreds of thousands of soldiers around the border who have orders to shoot directly, and if they see someone there, they will shoot on the spot. Escaping from the border between North Korea and South Korea is the fastest way, but the most dangerous way. Although the chances of success in this path are very low, but some people manage to escape this way. In 2017, a man from Pyongyang drives his car towards the border and crashes the car into the border wall and gets shot 5 times under the fire of the Korean border guard, but finally reaches the border of South Korea and is saved. And now he is a citizen of South Korea. This escape model is very dangerous. What are the other ways now? Before continuing the video, thank you for supporting me by liking. Well, let's go to continue the video. Apart from land borders, we can also think of 2 water borders in the east and west. It is almost impossible to buy a boat and escape from the water borders because the people of North Korea live in absolute poverty. And if they have money, they cannot find a boat. And the next option is swimming, which entails the risk of drowning or being detected by the North Korean Coast Guard. But in 2016, a person named Chul Yan Lee, who had a high military position in the security system of North Korea, he decided to escape by sea with one of his friends, which moved southwest from the Yuho_rig area. And after 4 hours of swimming, fortunately, they were identified by the South Korean Coast Guard and taken to South Korea. Of course, not everyone is as lucky as these 2 citizens. North Korea and South Korea are officially still at war and claim control over the entire Korean peninsula. The Joint Security Zone is a part of the demilitarized zone between the 2 countries where the negotiations between the 2 sides are held. In June 2019, Trump met North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in this area and became the first U.S. president to set foot on North Korean soil. Apart from South Korea, there are 3 other countries near North Korea that you can go to: Japan, Russia, and China. Among these 3 countries, Japan seems to be the most suitable option because it is an ally of America and South Korea, but you have to swim the whole Sea of Japan, which is almost impossible. And since the end of the Korean War, only 3 asylum cases have been registered in Japan. Northern borders are not as dangerous as southern borders, and it is easier to pass through them, but the problem is that the northern neighbors are not hospitable at all. For example, entering Russia is not necessarily equal to entering South Korea. North Korea's border with Russia is only 17 kilometers long, but the problem is official Russian policy. According to Russian law, anyone who escapes from North Korea and takes refuge in Russia will be immediately returned to North Korea. The difference between the faces of Koreans and tall and blonde Russians is quite clear, but if you can hide yourself from the eyes of the Russian police, you can quickly reach the South Korean consulate in Vladivostok because it is only 11 kilometers away. Now let's talk about China. Escaping to China is more common among refugees, but China's border with North Korea is 1,300 kilometers. And the best time to cross the border rivers is 3 months of summer, when the depth of the rivers is low and the air is not cold. It is not difficult to reach China, but the Chinese government does not give any rights to North Korean citizens, and China, like Russia, returns North Korean citizens to North Korea. However, the border provinces of China have sheltered a significant population of Koreans among them. North Korean citizens will have a high chance of reaching freedom due to their similarity with the Chinese. The next destination in China is Shenyang, where the nearest South Korean consulate is located. If the citizens reach the South Korean consulate building, they will succeed. But you should know that this building is 200 kilometers away from the border with North Korea, and that this building is heavily monitored by the Chinese police. If citizens are detected by the police on the way to this building, they will never be able to reach the South Korean consulate and will be returned to North Korea. What other countries can be included in the list of North Korean citizens fleeing? The countries of Vietnam, Laos, and Burma have close relations with North Korea, and it is not advisable to go to them at all. Going to the countries of India, Pakistan, Bhutan, and Nepal requires you to cross the highest mountains on the planet, which is in the Himalayas, which is impossible. So only 2 other countries remain. The countries of Mongolia and Thailand. Mongolia is a better choice because it deports refugees to South Korea, and you just have to surrender yourself to the Mongolia police. The main issue is only the geography of Mongolia. To reach Mongolia, you have to cross the Gobi Desert, one of the largest deserts in the world. However, some Korean refugees managed to cross these Mongolia deserts. In 2007, a girl named Yeonmi Park and her mother worked secretly in China for 2 years, and after 2 years, they managed to cross the Gobi deserts, surrendered to the Mongolia police, and finally went to South Korea. And today, Yeonmi Park lives with her mother in New York. The last way to escape is Thailand. There are 5 high-speed train stations near the border between North Korea and China. If you have enough money, you can reach South China and Thailand in this way. The dangerous part of this road is that China does not have a common border with Thailand, which means you have to cross the dangerous forests of Laos and cross the Mekong River and surrender yourself to the Thai police. And these are all the escape routes of North Korean citizens. All these ways are difficult and dangerous. You must know that staying in South Korea is not a guarantee for your safety. For example, in 2002, a woman named Jing Yong-suk was able to escape to the south and get South Korean citizenship and marry a man from the same country. 2 years later, in 2004, they decide to go to the border of China and North Korea for their honeymoon. But an unknown person kidnaps Jin and returns Jin to North Korea. Jane was taken to the camp, tortured, and finally executed. Escaping from North Korea is not easy for anyone. The most terrible thing about this story is that all of this is not related to history, and at this very moment, the people of North Korea are trying to escape from the country, and many are losing their lives in this way. Let's go to see Yeonmi Park's speech in the organization, One Young World, of the North Korean citizen who was able to escape from North Korea with her mother. This speech is from 2014.
I have to do this because this is not I'm speaking. This is the people who want to tell the world what they want to say. North Korea is an unimaginable country. There is only one channel on TV. There is no internet. We aren't free to sing, say, wear, or think what we want. North Korea is the only country in the world that executes people for making unauthorized international phone calls. North Koreans are being terrorized today. When I was growing up in North Korea, I never saw anything about love stories between men and women. No books, no songs, no press, no movies about love stories. There is no Romeo and Juliet. Every story was propaganda to brainwash us about the Kim dictators. I was born in 1993, and I was abducted at birth, even before I knew the words freedom or human rights. North Koreans are desperately seeking and dying for freedom at this moment. When I was 9 years old, I saw my friend's mother publicly executed. Her crime, watching a Hollywood movie, expressing doubt about the greatness of the regime, can get 3 generations of a family imprisoned or executed. When I was 4 years old, I was warned by my mother not to even whisper. The birds and mice couldn't hear me. I admitted I thought the North Korean dictator could read my mind. My father died in China after we escaped North Korea. And I had to bury him at 3 a.m. in secret. I was 14 years old. I couldn't even cry. I was afraid to be sent back to North Korea. The day I escaped North Korea, I saw my mother raped. The rapist was a Chinese broker. He targeted me. I was 13 years old. There is a saying in North Korea, women are weak, but mothers are strong. My mother allowed herself to be raped in order to protect me. North Korean refugees, about 300,000, are vulnerable in China. 70% of North Korean and teenage girls are being victimized, sometimes sold for as little as $200. We walked across the Gobi Desert, following a compass. When they stopped working, we followed the stars to freedom. I felt only the stars were with us. Mongolia was our freedom moment. Death or dignity. Armed with knives, we were prepared to kill ourselves if we were going to be sent back to North Korea. We wanted to live as humans. People often ask me, how can we help North Koreans? There are many ways, but I would like to mention 3 for now. 1, educate yourself so you can raise awareness about human crisis in North Korea. 2, help and support North Korean refugees who are trying to escape to freedom. 3, petition China's stop repatriation. We have to shed a light on the darkest place in the world. It isn't just North Korean human rights. It's our rights that North Korean dictators have violated for 7 decades. We need governments around the world to put more pressure on China to stop repatriation. In particular, Chinese delegates of One Young World can play a part by speaking out. North Korea is indescribable. No humans deserve to be oppressed just because of their birthplace. We need to focus less on the regime and more on the people who are being forgotten. One Young World, we are the ones who will make them visible. Fellow delegates, please join me as we make this a global movement to free North Koreans. When I was crossing the Gobi Desert, scared of dying, I thought nobody in this world cared. It seemed that only the stars were with me. But you have listened to my story. You have cared. Thank you very much.
We're not going to go to the floor. Can you get it?
hoping for the freedom and happiness of all the people who have a dictatorial regime. Thank you for being with me. We have reached the end of today's video. If you like this video, please support me by liking and subscribing to the channel. Love you, bye.